One interesting thing that this bike does is removing the effort, because as I said, when you are going through a city, you are going on the highway, you don't need to work the clutch. The Y-AMT is doing it for you, and I think when you are riding boring roads, this is a plus, because when you are going to the twisties, you can switch to manual mode and have full control, turning this bike in something easy to ride, but still exciting. Hi guys, I have a really bad feeling, let's say, for all the real riders out there. I think that in the coming years, the manual transmission motorcycles are going to be extinct. And it's all because of motorcycles like this Yamaha Tracer 9 that you can also buy with an automated transmission system. It's called Y-AMT, Yamaha Automated Manual Transmission, that makes things a lot easier. You have no clutch, no gear lever, and honestly, it's quite scary good. But here is the real question. Are these bikes better than the regular version with the manual transmission, or are we just trading pleasure, feelings, just for the ease of riding a motorcycle? And this is what I want to discuss in the coming minutes, describing also a little bit the evolution of the Y-AMT, because it has been around for the last 3 years. Yamaha is putting a strong bet on this system, putting it around on a lot of their models. Basically, it moves the quick shifter from your feet to your index finger. You have a trigger here, a seesaw trigger that changes so fast, better probably than the vast majority of riders, and this makes it a very fun bike when you are riding it in the curves, in the twisties. The Tracer 9 has always been about comfort, but also sportiveness, aggressiveness. It has that mixed, taking the engine from the MT-09, putting it in a more comfortable chassis, and now with this addition, which is optional, it makes it a completely new breed of motorcycle. It makes more sense for me to have this system on this type of motorcycle, because when you are touring, you want to be relaxed. For example, when you are transiting a city, you just want to put it in automatic mode and go around the city traffic without much hassle of feathering the clutch. Also, when you are riding on a highway, also put it in automatic, maybe start the cruise control. I mean, it makes sense for this kind of motorcycle. For the ones living under the rock for the last 2 or 3 years, let me explain a little bit what is Y-AMT. It's called Yamaha Automated Manual Transmission, and basically it's a semi-automatic system. It is not a CVT, it is not a DCT, it's a manual gearbox, but without a clutch lever and without a gear changer. Instead of this, it has 2 actuators that control the clutch, and the other does the actual shifting of the gear. It is this very simple concept that also brings in a quick shifter to make these shifts very fast. It has 2 automatic modes. They are called D and D+. D+ stands for more sportive ride, more aggressiveness, while the D standard is for economic rides, where you want to change faster, lower in the RPMs, so you obtain a very low average consumption. Now, for example, I've been reading the Yamaha Tracer 9 for 300 or 400 kilometers today, and the average consumption is somewhere near 5.8 liters per 100 kilometers, which it is a very good consumption, I think, for this engine. And the manual mode, where you are still in control using a seesaw trigger that is located in the left side of the handlebar, which basically brings a quick shifter from your left foot to your left arm. And this is the fun part, because the changes get done very fast and it's like you are shooting a gun. The downsides for the automated scenario is that sometimes it changes when a person wouldn't. For example, when you are leaning in a curve, for example, when you are starting from a stoplight, it seems slightly abrupt sometimes, but for 2026, Yamaha started listening to the customers of the first generation, because in 2024, when I tested for the first time the Y-AMT, it was put on the MT-09, it felt, as I said, a little bit abrupt, a little bit rushing in changing gears when you are inside the corner, and it seems like they solved some of this issue, because today's ride I've been very impressed with this gearbox, especially when it comes to short hairpins, where usually automated transmission gears have the tendency to change gears from second to third and back again to second. In this case, Yamaha, it looks like it waits more time to see what the rider is going to do, and it keeps it in the second gear, especially if you are using it in D+. This is something that I want to say, because if you are going for the standard D mode, there the motorcycle, as I said, is trying to get the lowest fuel consumption it can, so it changes very often. I did my research and it looks like for 2026 they didn't change anything at hardware level, so it's the same system, but they did some improvement in terms of algorithm. And also it depends on the character of the engine, because when you put it on the CP2 of MT-07, the MT-07, it's a small compact motorcycle with a very torquey engine. It always feels a little bit on-off. This is what Yamaha has been struggling for years, and that's why they installed ride-by-wire also for MT-07 to make it more subtle, let's say. But still, in that combination, the Y-AMT and the CP2 feels a little bit abrupt, it feels a little bit off. Also when they are engaging the clutch, it feels like something is breaking, you hear like a big clunk, chunk, and that is some things that may scare away a little bit the customers. But on the Tracer 9, it feels at home. It is more subtle, it's feathering much better the clutch when you are riding in the city. It happens sometimes if you are starting from the traffic light very fast, if you are turning the accelerator very in a rush way, let's say, you can hear that bang again. And that's why I recommend you to test ride one of these bad boys, because in the future, unfortunately, there are going to be two sides. There are going to be the old schools, like us, like me, for example, which has been learning to ride a motorcycle using the clutch, but still can adapt to the modern technologies and enjoys riding it in a Y-AMT system using the manual transmission options. And there are going to be the newbies that were scared about stalling the engine in an intersection, and they were scared about using a real clutch lever, that they are going to embrace this technology, but they are going to learn to ride motorcycle in this way, just controlling basically the accelerator and just focusing on the ride. And now, to be honest, I don't know which side to pick, because we are living some strange times, generally speaking. And for example, if somebody is starting riding at 18 years old now and they are jumping on this kind of system, the E-clutch from Honda, the DCT, the SA from BMW, for sure they are going to get stuck in this path of using only automated transmission shifting systems. So I would say, even though it is the same gearbox, you get completely different personality. The engine changes everything. And then there is the electronics, a thing that people ignore, let's say. If on the MT-07 and even on the MT-09, you got like basic electronic stuff. You also get the IMU with 6 axes on the Tracer 9 and MT-09. I think that the best implementation it's on the Tracer 9 GT Plus, where you have that complex system with a semi-active electronic control suspension that is also linked with the braking system, and it's also linked with the adaptive cruise control, and it's also linked to the Y-AMT gearbox. And now the decision of the gearbox are made taking into account all these parameters. So it makes a lot of sense for the Tracer 9 GT Plus to be a smoother, a refined experience when it comes to Y-AMT system. By the way, if you found out some interesting information till now, don't forget to like this video and also share it with your friends that maybe are contemplating on buying a motorcycle with a Y-AMT Y-AMT system or other automated shifting system. And the last factor is the type of the bike, because when we are talking about MT-07, MT-09, we're talking about naked bikes. Everything is aggressive, you feel the air. Here, everything is a little bit more down to earth, let's say. You are looking for touring, you have a wind protection, so it is natural to want to have things to happen smoother. So I would say that the Y-AMT is not just a gearbox, it's more like an experience. It can be very raw on the MT-07, it can be a little bit between the worlds, let's say on the MT-09, and probably the best experience is on the Tracer 9 GT Plus. But that's why some people love it, some people hate it. It depends very much on your type of riding and also your preference for which type of bike do you want to use. However, this version of Tracer 9 Standard proves one thing: you don't need all the electronic gizmo, and just adding an automated shifting system can reduce the effort, can make it a more relaxed ride and help you enjoy even better the ride. So what do you think? Is this the end for manual transmission? Or are we going to see for a long time from now on the manual transmission in parallel with this automated shifting system? Let me know in the comments, what do you prefer? Have you ridden the most advanced or the newest automated system? People that were scared before of buying a motorcycle, they were scared they will stall the engine in the intersection, they were scared of using a clutch lever. Now they can buy a motorcycle that is easier to operate. You got the e-clutch from Honda, you got DCT also from Honda that has a bigger history. You have the automated shift assistant from BMW. I know KTM has one system. I think Royal Enfield is working on their system. Maybe Harley Davidson at one point they were doing some stuff in this area. So I think this is the area where currently all the motorcycle manufacturers are concentrating and trying to expand. So maybe this is not for the old school rider, for the people that enjoy and love having the clutch lever. They will still buy those motorcycles. But if the people that prefer these systems will increase over time, I think that in 5 or 10 years there is a risk that the manual transmission will go extinct, just like the Kickstarter did. And this is because when you get used to one of these, I'm telling you, you don't want to go back. After a weekend riding a motorcycle with an automated shift, even though you put it in manual and you are controlling when to shift the gears, when you are going back to the regular motorcycle, you will feel a little bit numb at the beginning because you forget how to operate. It seems like this is how it has to be from the beginnings. And that's why I'm very curious, and please let me know in the comments, are you going to give at least a try for these systems if you are an old school rider? Or have you already tried them? What is your opinion? Do you like it? Which is the system that you feel more comfortable with? Because in my opinion, they all have a big flaw, and this is going to be very hard to solve it. Maybe they will get some substantial improvements, I don't know. But I think this is the direction we are heading towards. From now on, we are going to see a lot of these systems on the road. In conclusion, do you still need a manual transmission box? Maybe not, I would say. And I would say maybe because there are still people out there that are old school, that want to have the full control. However, this is not about replacing the manual transmission. It's more about improving the experience, making it more fun. And this is the hard part, because not all motorcycle producers can do this. Because at the core, this is about reducing the effort and keeping the experience, keeping the excitement, the enjoyment of riding a sport touring motorcycle. And I think Yamaha has come pretty close with this Tracer 9. So who is it for actually, this motorcycle? If you are loving to have control, you'll be missing this part, because you can't feather the clutch. You have to trust the system. If you ride daily or do long trips, this is insanely good, because this makes the bike faster, and at the same time it makes you relax more. It is easier to operate while you are still having the same performance. Or even better, when you are switching it in manual, as I told you before, it changes so fast. I've never seen a quick shifter on the regular street motorcycle changing so fast. For the whole picture, it was a very good experience for me. Let me know in the comments what you think about these systems. I'm very curious if you have ridden the Y-AMT, also on the MT-09 back in 2024 when it was first launched, on the MT-07 and especially on the Tracer 9. Let me know in the comments what you think about these systems. It would be even interesting if somebody bought a motorcycle with this system to let us know why they did it. Why do you want this automated shifter on your motorcycle and you just don't want to be a real man having the clutch lever in there and be in full control? Let me know in the comments why did you did that, because for sure by motorcycle rider standards you are going to burn in hell for doing this. I'm kidding. Just let me know what made you buy a motorcycle with Y-AMT or other automated system. Till next time, take care of yourself. Don't forget to enjoy every minute on two wheels. And don't forget to like the video if you found some interesting information, and also subscribe the channel to be up to date with the latest information from the motorcycling world.